Hello, so good to meet you at this global motivational meeting. We are reading World Scriptures book to inspire and empower a positive life for today. These holy scriptures are helping billions of people, families, communities, countries, and the whole world. And now, as we are reading about qualities for happy and prosperous life, let's read further about charity. Charity to the poor and the needy is a traditional virtue encouraged by all religions. Our relationship to the highest good creates a natural bond of family among all members of the community, rich and poor. We can experience God's love and compassion for all his children, and especially for those who suffer from poverty, disease, war, famine, and natural disaster. Giving alms and charity is a concrete expression of this spiritual bond of love. Texts such as the parable of the sheep and the goats from the New Testament, like helping a poor man to giving offerings to God or the highest saints. Charity is not excluded even for the poorest, given according to several texts. Some passages describes the attitude one should take in giving charity. The dignity of the transaction should be upheld by all means. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Describe the value of anonymity for both the donor and the recipient. For the donor to eliminate any occasion for boasting, and for the recipient to preserve his dignity. And even higher form of charity, according to Maimonides, is to extend interest-free loans and other forms of aid to help the poor man get started in a business or trade, and thus earn his own living in a modern version of the age. Give a man a fish, you have fed him for today. Teach a man to fish, and you have fed him for a lifetime. Father Moon has been developing oceanic fishing enterprises with the intent to help the people of Africa become self-sufficient in food. Charity is an expression of God's love and draws us near to God. Blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord delivers him in the day of trouble. They feed with the food the needy, wretched, the orphan, and the prisoner for love of him, saying, we wish for no reward, no thanks from you. They sold their possessions and goods and distributed them to all, as any had need. Charity to be moved at the sight of the thirsty, the hungry, and the miserable, and to offer relief to them out of pity is the spring of virtue. If there is among you a poor man, one of you brethren in any of your towns within you land which the Lord your God gives you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against your poor brother, but you shall open your hand to him and lend him sufficient for his need, whatever it may be. You shall give to him freely, and your heart should not be darkening when you give to him, because for this the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in all that you undertake. For the poor will never tease out of the land. Therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brother to the needy and the poor in the land. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all the nations, and he will separate them one from another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep at the right hand, but the goats at the left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me." Further listed quotes from the second coming. Father, Son, and Moon. Parents suffer when one of their children are sick. When one of your siblings is hurt, you feel pain. When seeing people suffering from poverty or war, a saint feels they are suffering more intensely than his own difficulties. Forgetting his own circumstances, he gives all he had to help them. This way has been bequeathed as the standard of morality the world over in all ages and nations. It is the philanthropic spirit, the love for humanity. When you see God children playing on the street and they're fed and wearing that clothes, you should hang and embrace them as you would your own children. You should feel ashamed if you do not want to do that. You should feel more shameful than would a parent who abandoned her child. Fear should catch a glimpse of him on the street. Seeing him as she passes by the town where years before she had left him on a doorstep, or perhaps in the care of a nanny, she cannot hold up her head. That is the bond of heart. If your own children were that gaunt, would you embrace them and shed tears until your bones melt? While walking on the street, if you see an old man with a hand in his back, you should think, my father might have such an appearance when he visits me. When you see the rotten, swollen hands of a laborer, you should think, my father who is searching for me might look worse than him. And when you meet a beggar, you should be able to bow your head thinking, he is not a beggar, but actually my father. Know that God's heart dwells in each of these miserable and pitiful looking people. You should love them regardless of your situation and social position, shedding tears with their heart that each of them is your own father. Only then can you meet God. At lunchtime, if you should see an elderly person who is in distress because he does not have enough money to buy food, take him with you in the cafeteria and treat him to a good meal. Serve him as you would serve your grandparents. I cannot forget those who visited me when I was lonely in prison and comforted me in my miserable plight. I might forget about my family members or relatives, but never those who sought me because of the bonds of true love. Once I rescued a prostitute, a young girl who had fallen into that pitiful situation. I love her as my own sister. I remember it as if it were yesterday. After listening to her story, I wept with her and truly uplifted her. That kind of deed is greater and more precious than prayer. I have studied the ocean industry because I know it is a way to feed the starving people of Africa. For 20 years, steadfast without letting up, I have worked hard to pave this road. I made my own nets, built boats in my own factories, and created my own methods of fishing. The waters of Africa have an abundance of fish. If only the people of Africa could harvest them, they would have food to spare. How then could they possibly die of starvation? 60,000 people starve to death every year, mostly in Africa. Ask your own conscience. These people are starving due to the want of food, whereas here in America, you eat so much that you became a plump of as a cow, and then have to work hard dieting and exercising to reduce that weight. Should you not be punished by God? So powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video or share this video as we end this billion happy life subscribers marathon. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this heavenly, very and holy community globally. See you tomorrow with more powerful quotes. Stay happy, healthy. Yours, Coach Nikolai Sirpala. Bye-bye for now.